Hello everyone, it's me Varus and welcome back to another video. This video I'll be giving you an update on the current alerts and indices in the US currently going on. Pretty good deep dive into the severe threat that I'm expecting that'll occur sometime later this week into the weekend. And an update on the tropics, as there's just some stuff I want to talk about, and a little winter talk at the end. And yeah, it'll be a fun little video. If you do enjoy this video, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing with your friends. Let's get right into it. So let's start with the National Weather Service alerts and indices. So this shows us all the alerts and indices and all the headlines that the National Weather Service across many offices across the country has put out. It looks a little more active, I'd say, than last video-ish. At least looks a little more spread out. We can start in the west, where we have some localized frost advisories over here in Oregon and Washington State. Here, this like indigo color are freeze warnings. The lighter blues, cyan colors are freeze watches. So some would turn into warnings or frost advisories. And the purple are actually some winter weather advisories, as we did have this disturbance down here in the desert southwest that brought some much needed rain, heavy rain, flooding in Southern California. It was a really dangerous situation. Finally, it's heading kind of northwest, or northeast, kind of an odd track, but it is gonna scoop up a little and bring some winter weather. With this, could also spark the severe weather threat down here in Arkansas and those places. I'll take a look over there. In the vicinity near Texas, got some dense fog air quality alerts currently going on in this gray color right here. Looks very similar to the dense fog advisories that we currently have going on in southwestern Minnesota, eastern South Dakota, and portions of extreme northwestern Iowa. And those are some stuff we're watching. And the special weather statements like some fire watches or fire concerns or dense fog. And then in that kind of like, if you see this color right here, that's still some wind advisories. And then the light green are rain related issues. Into the northeast, we have some coastal flood advisories as well. So into the northeast, we have some frost advisories for portions of the western Pennsylvania state, portions of New York, upstate New York, Erie, portions of eastern Ohio, and some freeze watches along the Allegheny Mountains over here. So we're going to watch that, maybe extends further south, as we're going to get a few cold nights back in. And then over here in Vermont and upstate New York, some special weather statements likely with the fire. And then it's like light purple, dark purple, gale watches, so heavy winds, battering winds. And yeah, these special weather statements mainly all indicative of red flag, like fire related issues. So let's start with severe weather, okay? So here's the threat we're watching right here, 15%. Whole state of Arkansas in it, northern portions of Louisiana, northeastern portions of the state of Texas, such as portions of Texarkana, portions of St. Louis right on the edge, southern Missouri, western Kentucky, Tennessee, and northwestern Mississippi, southern Illinois, eastern Oklahoma, and maybe clipping portions of extreme southwestern Indiana over here. Overall, it's not the biggest threat, but it's definitely a notable threat, and who knows, it could continue to get expanded up. It's definitely still covers a populated area. I mean, area population over 10 million, so it's still pretty populated in this region. But Arkansas would be the hot spot, as the whole state is under the 15%. So let's talk about severe threat. So this is kind of a zoomed out look on the GFS. I've already skipped ahead to the severe threat, and we'll go from there. So here's a low pressure. Actually, let's start from hour 6. So here's the low pressure in Colorado. This is going to scoot north. What it's going to do, as it scoots north, a trough is going to come behind it, so kind of help to yank it south. And it's not anything too impressive. I mean, kind of. You do see with that, so with the trailing moisture on the departing storm that we have right now, kind of leaves some moisture behind. You got a trough coming through, fetch of moisture, so low pressure you'll see starts to form kind of in the desert southwest where the previous storm formed, or mainly gets going once it gets towards kind of like the central plains. There you have a cold front, so you have the cold front, you have the warm front. Here, let me see if I can kind of draw it a little better. Technically, your cold front is right in here. You have your warm front right in here. And so, if you got your warm, moist air, cool air behind, so you're going to get severe weather somewhere in here. And that's generally where that threat is. And even further north, you'll get some severe weather, not as intense though. So if we continue this, you'll see it's a very dynamic storm. GFS doesn't highlight it. I'm going to show you a model that does highlight it pretty well, but this is where we're watching severe weather. More rain, wind dynamically further north. And this does carry into the northeast, bring some showers and rain. And then we see some very similar storms to that. Okay, we get a bunch. Like GFS just brings, it's basically cutter storms, but very like extreme cutters. Like even the cutter of cutters, you know, cuts right through the desert southwest straight north. Even usually cutters kind of go through like this, but since fall we're already getting them over here. But that does show that seasons are changing. So let's talk about the severe weather threat. I like the Euro. Feel like it handles it very well. We'll go through everything for now. So temperature, there you have it. There's your gradient. So your cold front kind of through here. I mean, you will have a backdoor one as well. You got that moisture. I mean, it's very warm ahead. Plentiful 80s. I mean, let's go to dew points. And you'll see how moist it really is. There you have it, 60s. And then that front very defined through here. Gets a little choppier down through here. But you do get that clear moisture fetch as dew points are oppressive. Upper 50s to lower 60s. Even some mid-upper 60s on the southern Texas coast. And you can see the wind barbs that kind of show that flow. We can show humidity as well. Okay, never mind. Humidity doesn't really show it as well. We can show the energy along with it. There's your front right here. There's that front. You'll see it continue to strengthen up. Kind of just going through a bunch of stuff just to look at how it is, how it looks with vorticity. You can have that's a sublow that could form mesolow. So we're gonna have to watch for that as well. And I mean, that's mainly it. But anyways, let's go back to the rain or the storms, and you'll start to see it fire up. There you have it. This is 2 a.m. October 18th, so this is Saturday. You got some pop-up storms firing from northern Mississippi or northern Missouri, eastern Kansas, and portions of the Oklahoma Panhandle. And then you'll see that's kind of a precursor, and then it really starts to get going. There you have it. This is 5 p.m. Saturday, October 15th. This is when your main front is coming through. Kind of a backdoor behind it, but this is like your main dish right through here. Okay, some pop-ups continue, but this is where that threat really comes, and I mean that's in the general risk area. So I'd expect a marginal could get put up towards northern Missouri, towards Texas, maybe sneaking into the Panhandle. Okay, generally maybe in this area, but slight. I stay pretty grounded through here. Maybe a further south with the marginal as well. But if we continue this, you'll see it kind of clears through, and I mean it goes even further. I'm about to see if a severe threat continues for the southeast as well. It seems to be a very dynamic storm before even the east coast could end up with something. So we're gonna have to watch it. We can look at dynamics through here. We can just go through one thing since we're still a little bit apart. I don't want to go too in depth. Make a more in-depth video about it later. But there you have. Look at that front. That is an impressive clearing cold front for everybody. Really everybody. Even Florida. Even half of the state of Florida. Okay. I'd say Orlando and north, you get a beautiful clearing cold front. I don't know. Orlando might be further down south, but north of Orlando for sure, nice clearing cold front. I mean, that is a very beautiful cold front. Just so mesmerizing. And then even behind it, you get another one. So just dynamic storms will bring these transient cold blasts, and again, indicative of fall season weather change. Let's talk about the tropics. Eastern Pacific, 40%, 48 hours, 6% next 10 days. Still watching the storm as it hugs the coast of western Mexico. We'll continue to monitor that in a few days. Atlantic, we got remnants of Lorenzo. About to dissipate. Hasn't been really impressive at all. Won't affect any land. And then let's talk about I know I kind of blew through the tropics, but it's very light stuff. Let's talk about winter. And just a quick look at Enzo. So I will be posting my winter forecast probably this weekend. No promises, but either this weekend or next weekend. I'm going to definitely try this weekend. So be ready if you are waiting for that, because I know some people have been waiting for that. I've seen some comments already asking about winter. Don't worry. Everything will be covered. So let's talk about Enzo. So as you can see, pretty gradual cooling trend. If you look anywhere between September 17th. Okay, that's a terrible line. That's still a terrible line. Let me see if I can get a good line. Okay, that works. Anywhere between here, you see kind of just this kind of stable trend. And we've seen that for the last month. Now, I do think it'll resume cooling for the rest of October, but once we get into November, and especially into December, you'll start to see it neutral bounce back out and then start to warm back up. So we're going to get to La Nina territory, at least weak La Nina. We're already at almost moderate La Nina territory, basically. And so I'll expect it to stay moderate and then get up to weak territory by December. And into January, it should stay weak. And then February, it should get back into cool Enzo. So that's going to affect our winter. We'll have to see how long this lull stays. If it continues staying like this and then starts rising back up, that means we could see cool Enzo by the time of January. If it cools a little further and then stabilizes and then goes back up, then we could just end up with a weak La Nina most of winter. So we're going to have to keep watching that. Plenty of signs to keep watching. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Just wanted to give a nice little video on the severe weather. It looks really interesting to me. And quick update on the tropics. And quick look at the winter forecast. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next one.